The memory is further classified into two types, that is primary memory as well as secondary memory. This cache memory is called very fast memory and the size of the memory is very limited. The execution speed of the CPU is always high compared to your main memory. Hello to all, a warm welcome to my new session. I am Revati, Faculty, Department of Computer Science, Vidyashram, Pre-University College, Temple of Excellence, Mysuru. Today we are on the 10th session of second chapter and the chapter name is Input, Output and Memory Devices. Moving further, in my today's session, I am going to deal with portable storage disk. Along with that, I'm going to deal with difference between primary memory as well as secondary memory. Then at the end, I'm going to deal with cache memory. Before going to start my today's session, let me to recall the things what I had discussed in my previous session. In my previous session, I started with floppy disk. That means what is floppy disk, what is the use of floppy disk and the storage capacity of floppy disk. Along with that, we had discussion regarding optical disk. What is optical disk? In which material is used to make optical disk and the different types of optical disk. So when I talk about optical disk, here we are mainly going to use laser beams and light technology. That means suppose if I want to read any data from the optical disk or I want to write any data onto the optical disk, I am going to use laser beams. So here optical disks are made by using glass and I am going to use the light technology. Along with that, we had discussion regarding the types of optical disk. That is nothing but CD-ROM. Then we had discussion regarding DVD-ROM and RAM. Along with that, we had discussion regarding Blu-ray disc. So now tell me what is CD-ROM and why I required CD-ROM. So here CD is nothing but compact disc read only memory, and this is the example for secondary storage device and the storage capacity is large compared to magnetic tape as well as magnetic disk. And here CD-ROMs are portable device and you can able to carry one place to another place. Then we had discussion regarding DVD-ROM as well as RAM. And the size of the DVD-ROM and RAM is large compared to CD-ROM and it is once again compact and portable disk you can able to carry from one device to another. Then it is mainly used to store movies. Then we had discussion regarding Blu-ray disc. So the size of the Blu-ray disc is larger and it is portable and it is mainly used to store HD movies and good quality of movies. These are the certain topics we discussed in my previous session. Moving further, I'm going to have portable storage device. Now tell me what is portable device and why I required portable device when I have some other storage device. So here the portable device itself indicates that it is portable. That means it is in small size, and it is very easy to carry from one place to another place. For that reason, we are going to use portable devices most frequently. And what is portable device? Here, portable device is nothing but the small hardware device. I repeat, here portable device is nothing but the small hardware device, and it is capable to store digital data. That means it is capable to store any kind of digital data, and this is slightly different from portable media player, because by portable media player we can able to store and play the music. At the same time we can able to store the movies. But what is the size of the portable storage media? Here portable storage media comes with fixed size, and the size of the hard disk, that is 256 gigabytes of data or 320 gigabytes of data or 500 gigabytes of data or 1 TB. Here TB is nothing but the terabytes, and it is mainly useful for alternate backup. That means here the portable storage device is mainly used to store backup data. Store backup data. Instead of memory card. That means you can able to use the memory card to store the data, or at the same time you can also replace your memory card with portable storage device. That means you can use the portable storage device to store the digital data. And here portable device is nothing but the small hardware drive is itself called portable storage device. Moving further, I'm going to have the difference between primary memory as well as secondary memory. In my previous sessions, we had discussion regarding what is primary memory and what is secondary memory. So here the memory is nothing but the storage space that is mainly used to store the data, and the memory is further classified into two types, that is primary memory as well as secondary memory. Now tell me, what is primary memory? So here primary memory is also called main memory, and the size of the primary memory is very small, and the execution speed of the primary memory is high. Whereas moving on to the secondary storage device, the secondary storage device is called external storage device, and it's also called auxiliary memory. And the size of the storage device is large compared to primary memory, and the execution of the instruction or programs are very low compared to primary memory. So here we can able to find the difference between primary memory as well as secondary memory. At the beginning, I'm going to consider primary memory. So the primary memories are made by using semiconductor, whereas the secondary memories are made by using magnetic or optical memory. Then the example for semiconductor memory, that is nothing but ROM, RAM, etc. Whereas example for secondary memory is nothing but magnetic tape, magnetic disc, optical disc, CD-ROM, DVD-ROM, etc. Then the second difference here is volatile memory. That is nothing but the temporary memory. Dear student, now tell me how to justify primary memory itself volatile memory. Consider the example that I'm going to store some data onto the primary memory. After some time, I'm going to turn off my computer system. Now tell me what is going to happen here. Here, whatever the data I have stored onto the primary memory is get erased. So here, the primary memory is by the nature volatile. That means temporary memory. And what about secondary memory? Here secondary memory is non-volatile. That means whatever the content I'm going to write on the secondary memory, that does not get erased even though I'm going to turn off or switch off my computer power supply. And the data are written onto the secondary memory during the manufacturing. So here the secondary memory holds inbuilt instruction or inbuilt data. Moving further, I'm going to have another difference under primary memory, that is expensive. That means to buy ROM or RAM, I required more money compared to secondary memory, whereas the secondary memory is less expensive. That means to buy magnetic tape or optical disc, I required very less money when compared to primary memory. Then another difference here is primary memory is faster. That means the execution speed of the instruction is very fast in primary memory, whereas in secondary memory, the execution speed of the instruction as well as programs are very low in secondary memory. Moving further, the primary memory is also called main memory, whereas the secondary memory is also called auxiliary memory. And some of the examples for primary memory is nothing but RAM and ROM, whereas some of the example for secondary memory is magnetic tape, magnetic disc, optical disc, etc. And the primary memory is called internal memory. Internal memory, whereas the secondary memory is called external memory. So these are some of the difference between primary memory as well as secondary memory. Moving further, I'm going to have cache memory. So this cache memory is called very fast memory and the size of the memory is very limited. The speed of CPU is extremely high compared to access time of main memory. That means the execution speed of the CPU is always higher than your main memory. Now, I want to balance the execution speed of CPU as well as main memory. So, what I'm going to do here? I'm going to use the cache memory. That means I'm going to place the cache memory between my CPU as well as main memory. So, therefore, the performance of CPU is decreases due to the slow speed of main memory. That means here the execution speed of the CPU is always high compared to main memory. So here the performance of the CPU is going to decrease because of my main memory. To decrease the mismatch of operating speed, small memory chip is attached between CPU and main memory. That means in order to balance the execution speed of CPU as well as main memory. What I'm going to do here, I'm going to place a very small memory chip in between CPU as well as main memory in order to balance the access time, and it is called cache memory. That means whatever the chip I'm going to place in between CPU as well as memory, it is called cache memory. It acts as buffer. So what is buffer here? Once again, buffer is nothing but storage media. Storage media or storage area, and the buffer is placed between CPU and main memory in order to balance access time. So here cache memory is accessed much faster than conventional random access memory. That means whatever the data which is stored on the cache memory can be accessed very fastly comparing to random access memory. It is used to store programs or data currently being executed or temporary data frequently used by the CPU. That means the cache memory is used to store the data which is currently being executing. That means currently being means what? The currently executing instructions are stored inside the cache memory. So here cache memory is mainly used to store program or data that is currently being executed by the CPU, or it's also capable to hold the temporary data and which is frequently used by the CPU. So here the cache memory is mainly used to make main memory to be faster and larger than it is really. That means the cache memory is mainly used to make the main memory faster and the storage capacity is larger, and it is very expensive to have bigger size of cache memory and its size is normally kept small. That means we are going to have small size of cache memory, and it's very difficult to have large size of cache memory. So here the cache memory is a small chip and it is placed between CPU as well as in your main memory in order to balance CPU speed as well as main memory speed, because the execution speed of the CPU is always high compared to your main memory. In order to balance both CPU execution time as well as main memory execution time, I'm going to have cache memory, and this is the small tiny chip I'm going to place between CPU as well as main memory. Moving further, let's see the advantages of cache memory. So what is the first advantage here I'm going to have? That is cache memory is faster than main memory. That means the execution speed of the cache memory is always larger or faster than main memory. It consumes less access time as compared to main memory. That means it is going to consume very less access time which is compared to your main memory, and it is responsible for storing the program that can be executed within a short period of time. That means here the cache memory is mainly used to store the data which is currently being used by the CPU, and it stores data for temporary use. These are some of the advantages of cache memory. Moving further, I'm going to have the disadvantage. Then what is the disadvantage here? whatever the cache memory I'm going to have, the size of the cache memory is limited. So it is limited capacity and the cache memory is very expensive. These are the two disadvantages of cache memory. Moving further, once again, I'm going to have the difference between internal memory as well as external memory. So the best example for internal memory is nothing but primary memory, whereas the best example for external memory is nothing but secondary memory. Let's see the difference between internal memory as well as external memory. So here the internal memory, what is internal memory? That is nothing but it comes inside the CPU. That means it is placed inside your CPU. Whereas external memory, the name itself indicates that is external to your CPU. Let's see the difference one by one. What is the first difference I'm going to have? That is nothing but limited storage capacity. That means whatever the internal memory I'm going to have, the size of the memory is limited. So it's going to have limited storage capacity. And when I compare to secondary memory, the size, that is storage size of secondary memory is always high or larger compared to primary memory. And I'm going to have another difference, that is, it is temporary storage of data. That means by using internal memory, I can able to store the data only for temporary period. That means how long the power supply is on, that much long I can able to store my data. So it is a temporary storage of data. Whereas the external memory is permanent memory. That means it is capable to store the data permanent. That means whatever the data we are going to have inside the external memories are returned during the manufacturing, and those instructions are used by the computer system to start up. That is nothing but the bootstrap programs. Then I'm going to have the another difference, that is fast access. That means whatever the data which is stored on the internal memory, I can very easily and very fastly I can able to access it. Whereas if I consider external memory, and the accessing speed of external memory is relatively slower. The last difference under internal memory is high cost. That is, to purchase internal memory, I required more money when compared to external memory. So here external memory, cheapest among all the memory. So these are the certain difference between internal memory as well as external memory. So dear student, in this chapter we had discussion regarding what is input device and the different types of input device. So what is input device? Input device is mainly used to feed the data to the computer system. So then what are the example for input device? Here example for input device is nothing but the keyboard and mouse. Then what are the different kinds of keyboard we had? That is standard keyboard, ergonomics keyboard, virtual keyboard, compact keyboard. These are the certain types of keyboard. Then what is mouse? Mouse is a pointing device and this is the main example for input device. Then we had discussion regarding output device. In that we had discussion regarding monitor. So what is monitor? Here monitor is mainly used to display the content, and here the monitor is the best example for soft copy output device. And under monitor we had discussion regarding CRT monitor, LED monitor and LCD monitor. Along with that we had discussion regarding TFT monitor. Then we had discussion regarding printer. What is printer? Here printer is nothing but the example for hard copy output device. Then we had discussion regarding two types of printer, that is impact printer and non-impact printer. So what is impact printer here? The name itself indicates that there is a physical contact between the paper as well as ribbon. Whereas non-impact printer is nothing but there is no physical contact between paper as well as ribbon. So here we are going to use cartridge. Along with that, we had discussion regarding dot matrix printer, line printer, laser printer, inkjet printer, etc. Then we had discussion regarding memory. What is memory here? Memory is nothing but storage area or space that is mainly used to store data as well as instruction. Then we had discussion regarding primary memory as well as secondary memory. So what is primary memory? Here primary memory is called static memory. Why it is called static memory? Because here we are not going to use any rotating device. So here primary memory is called internal memory or main memory, and the size of the primary memory is always less. Then we had discussion regarding two types of memory, that is RAM and ROM. When it comes to random access memory, then we had discussion regarding static random access memory and dynamic random access memory. At the same time, when it comes to read-only memory, we had discussion regarding programmable read-only memory, electrically erasable programmable read-only memory, etc. Then we had discussion regarding secondary storage device. So this is the external device and it is mainly used to store backup storage, or it is mainly used to store backup. Then we had discussion regarding secondary storage device. So it is also called backup data or auxiliary memory or external memory. Along with that, we had discussion regarding what is magnetic tape, what is magnetic disc, what is compact disc, what is optical disc, what is DVD, and what is Blu-ray disc. Along with that, we had discussion regarding what is cache memory, what is the use of cache memory. Along with that, we had discussion regarding internal memory as well as external memory. So dear student, from the examination point of view, this chapter is very important because you can able to expect one mark question, one 2-mark question and one 3-mark question. So the total marks expected from this chapter is 6 marks and you can very easily score 6 out of 6. So dear students, let's meet in my next session with some more information about computer science. Until then, keep watching and keep learning. Thank you.